I like a good serial killer documentary. He hasn't taken the pounding that wide receivers take.
It's just a pound job, and guys are tired towards that 4 minutes.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
I would be lying to you if I said I had not heard things. They're like a bad rash. You hear a lot of things. Some are true, some aren't.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Monday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us. A victory Monday evening here in Northeast Florida. The Jacksonville Jaguars 5-3 on the year after a 30-29 overtime road win out in Las Vegas against the Las Vegas Raiders. A game that was far from pretty. A game that for the Jaguars was downright ugly at times. But man alive, to get a road victory under those circumstances, that's good stuff from Liam Cohen and this Jaguar football team. We'll certainly spend a lot of time about that. I got a lot of thoughts about that. We will hear from Brian Sexton, Jaguars.com. He will join us coming up here in the 8 o'clock hour. Also the coach, Dave Campo, a little Monday night coaching with Campo, as we'll talk to the former head coach of the Dallas Cowboys about yesterday's victory, big picture view on where this roster is, and we'll look ahead briefly to Houston and a chance to put a final nail in the Texans' coffin for the AFC South in 2025. If Jacksonville beats Houston on Sunday in Houston, Texas, the Texans are done when it comes to the AFC South. We'll talk a lot more about that as the week goes on. So Brian Sexton, Jaguars.com, the head coach Dave Campo. We'll also talk a little Florida, Georgia later on in the 9 o'clock hour. Speaking of Florida, the defending national champion Florida Gator basketball team has begun their season. And again, we talked about this when the schedule came out. They're playing a ridiculously hard non-conference. UConn in the non-conference, a trip to Duke in the non-conference, and tonight, a top 15 Arizona team in Las Vegas. This is basically an Arizona home game. Arizona and Florida. Arizona leads 50-46 at the half. Not a lot of defense being played here on opening night, but it's good to see Alex Condon, Tommy Howell, Micah Hanlockton, Ruben Chinyelu. You see the new guys, Xavier Lee, Boogie Flan, Cornelius Ingram's son, former Gator Cornelius Ingram, his son CJ Ingram hit a 3 in his first college shot. So look, Florida's offense, they're scoring the ball. They're just not playing a lot of defense right now. They trail 50-46 at the half out in Las Vegas against Arizona on opening night in college hoops, and we will certainly keep you updated. But we're with you till 10 o'clock. As always, Jacksonville, we're happy you're deciding to spend part of your Monday evening with us. Every night here on Hacker After Dark, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night and Dylan Denmark. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No big deal. It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
What a roller coaster of emotion yesterday was between the Jaguars and the Raiders. Holy cow. You want to talk about a game that got you all in the feels, both positively and negatively, over a 3.5 hour period. From an unacceptable, flat-out ridiculous interception thrown by Trevor Lawrence to a 68-yard longest field goal made in NFL history, to the Jaguars busting the Raiders in the mouth time after time with the running game, to Brock Bowers impersonating Rob Gronkowski, Ozzie Newsome, Travis Kelce, Shannon Sharp all mixed into one, to Trevor Lawrence going over the top on 4th and goal in overtime And then finally the Jaguars stopping a 2-point conversion to get out of Las Vegas with a 30-29 win. That game basically had everything that you would want as a sports observer. It had drama. At times it made you angry. At times it probably made you sad. And in the end, if you're a Jaguar fan, you were euphoric in getting out of there with a win. There were times yesterday in Las Vegas, the Jaguars had one healthy tight end. One. There were times yesterday in Las Vegas that the Jacksonville Jaguars, in a 3 wide receiver set, had Parker Washington and 2 guys they just called up from the practice squad, and Austin Trammell and Tim Jones, due to injury. There were times in Las Vegas where you were having to piece this and that together in the secondary due to injuries to Jordan Lewis and the Travis Hunter situation and Eric Murray being on IR. It was a battle to find healthy bodies at times yesterday. You had a back-breaking interception thrown by Trevor Lawrence. Brock Bowers had 12 for $120 and 3 touchdowns. Yet despite all of that, the Jaguars found a way. Was it pretty? No, far from it. But they found a way to win a road NFL game with all of that adversity and all of those things hanging over their head. Jaguar Nation, that's resiliency. You know, we wanted to find out how this team responds to adversity. Well, I think the answer is they're resilient. Because outside of the Rams game, even in the losses to Cincinnati and Seattle, outside of the Rams game, this team has been resilient the entire part of the year, the entirety of the first 8 games. I mean, it would have been very easy to say, woe is me amidst all those circumstances. But the Jaguars found a way, and that's what good teams do. What did we say in years past? Bad teams find ways to lose. The Jaguars have certainly done that over the years, but the exact opposite of that is obviously good teams find ways to win. And that is what the Jacksonville Jaguars did yesterday in Las Vegas, Nevada. Trevor Lawrence. Denmark, from time to time, I've been known to get critical on social media. Kind of let my emotions out during Jaguar games. And I've been doing better about that. Truthfully, I have. It's been something I've worked on. I was not happy with that interception yesterday. I could not believe that a 5th-year quarterback, a $275 million quarterback, after a 17-play, over 10-minute drive, would make a decision like that and throw that football in that area. I couldn't believe it. I mean, it was as bad an interception as you will see an NFL quarterback throw. Horrid. But we talk about resiliency with the team. Well, Trevor Lawrence was resilient after that horrible decision. Because after that horrible decision, I thought it was arguably his best game of the year. Taking care of the ball, being in command. I mean, that's 2 times in the last 4 weeks now that Trevor has led either game-tying or game-winning drives with under 2 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. He did it against Kansas City, and he did it yesterday against Las Vegas. Twice in the last month. Trevor Lawrence was good after a horrible decision. And Trevor Lawrence is just like the Jaguars. We talk about the Trevor Lawrence experience, the ups and the downs, the head scratching and the mind boggling, both positively and negatively. Well, that's this Jaguar team. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. I said that ad nauseum last year because the Jaguars showed us who they were. They weren't very good. And at some point, you had to believe them. Well, this year, I also believe the Jaguars are showing you who they are. They're showing you they're going to commit dumb penalties. They're showing you they will commit ridiculous turnovers. They're showing you they will call timeouts that you just can't explain. Why would you do that? They're showing you that it will not be perfect. It will be far from it. It will be downright bad at times. But you know what else they're showing you? They're showing you that they're going to respond to that. They're showing you that no matter how many penalties they commit, or how many turnovers they make, or how many just mind-blowing negative things happen to them in games, more times than not, they're going to come out clean on the other side. At least that's what happened or has happened for the first 8 games of the year. And you know what that is? That's resiliency. That is a resilient football team. We wanted to know how the Jaguars respond to adversity, right? It's been a big topic. I think the answer is they respond to it with, say it with me, resiliency. More on the Jaguar win yesterday in Las Vegas. Again, Brian Sexton, Jaguars.com, joins us in less than 20 minutes. A Monday night here in Northeast Florida. We're glad you're with us. Hacker After Dark till 10 o'clock. A lot more to do right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Playmakers make special plays.
That right there, that's special.
Special plays make the special teams player of the game.
Winning football players who can step up in a clutch moment.
After the game, pump up the Superior Plumbing Special Teams player of the game on 1010XL.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just a job, but an experience, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
Strap in, Duval. The Jaguars are gearing up to face the Los Angeles Chargers Sunday, November 16th for our annual Salute to Service game. Join us as we honor and celebrate the brave men and women of our military all game long. Secure your seats now and be a part of the action by visiting jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. Let's stand together, Duval.
Join 1010XL as we cheer on the home team at Pour Tap Room, downtown at Laura and Forsyth. Enjoy the game on 2 floors of 80 self-pour taps, 15 TVs, and a giant projector. Sunday at 1 at Pour Tap Room.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
What if you could pull up to $500,000 in cash out of your home and drop your mortgage rate to 4.99% APR? Hey, Prosser here, and right now at Loan Pronto, they've got the lowest rates in 3 years. With Loan Pronto's rapid equity loan, you can get your cash in as little as 3 days, pay off all those high-interest credit cards, and even skip your next 2 house payments. One client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. Paid off their debt, paid off 2 car loans, saved $2,100 a month. One call, life change. There's no wait, no hard credit pull. You probably won't need an appraisal. Just fast, easy cash from your home's equity. Rates at a 3-year low. Act now. Call 914-999-1508 or visit loanpronto.com for your free instant home appraisal. See how much cash you can get today. Call 914-999-1508. See how much cash you can get today. You can also visit loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. On approved credit, visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The experts at AMCO have been fixing cars for almost 60 years. Over that time, they've gotten more complex than ever. That's why our techs undergo rigorous training and certifications, so they can fix anything, including the most complicated repairs that come with some of the latest technologies. After 60 years, there's nothing we haven't seen or fixed. It's how we know cars inside and out.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
What defines a hero? Dedication, loyalty, courage. Every day at AMCO, we serve heroes. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. From complex transmissions to simple brake jobs with flexible financing and the extra safety precautions we need. The heroes we serve don't all wear uniforms. They're people like you. At AMCO, we're proud to serve all of you. AA MCO.
Family owned and operated in Jacksonville, Orange Park, St. Augustine, and St. Mary's, Georgia.
Business owners, are you tired of getting the runaround from your plumbing or AC vendors? Fire them now and call Duck Duck Rooter. Duck Duck Rooter is the trusted partner for some of the largest commercial companies in Northeast Florida. From a professional accounting office that makes contracts and invoicing seamless to highly skilled field technicians who fix the problems fast, they handle it all. Make the smart move today with Duck Duck Rooter. Call 904-862-6769. 904-862-6769. Duck Duck Rooter, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Geno Smith drops, looks, pumps, fake five, knocked down! Devon Hamilton knocked it down! It's no good! The Jaguars win it! How good is that?
Frank Franchi on the call, Jaguars radio. Just over 24 hours ago in Las Vegas, Devon Hamilton. You know what that is? That's Hacker After Dark vibes. I had Devon on the program last week inside the Jaguar locker room. What a play he made. And it was good that he got those big paws up there, because if Devon Hamilton doesn't knock that ball down, it is a much different tune in this city today. Tyler Lockett did not have anybody within 8 yards of him in the back of that end zone. That was as blown a coverage as you could possibly have in that situation. And all Geno Smith had to do was lob it over Devon Hamilton, and no one was going to get Tyler Lockett. The Raiders were going to win the game. But Geno Smith did not do that, thankfully. And Devon Hamilton got his hands up there, and the Jaguars get out of Las Vegas with an enormous win to get to 5-3 on the year. And they gain ground on everybody in the AFC South, either gain ground or get further ahead. The Titans lost, and they're now having a fire sale. They've just traded another player tonight, Draymond Jones, who actually was good for them yesterday. He just got traded to Baltimore for a 5th-round pick ahead of tomorrow's trade deadline. The Texans lost, and now all of a sudden DeMeco Ryans, their head coach, is saying, well, yeah, we don't really that was a dirty hit what Denver did to C.J. Stroud. Oh, really? Because you didn't have that tune last year when Azeez Al-Shire did something far worse to Trevor Lawrence. Look, I don't wish injury on anybody, and I feel bad that happened to C.J. Stroud. But you want to talk about the hypocrite of hypocrites? DeMeco Ryans, how's karma for you, man? What goes around comes around, as they say. Oh, yeah, your guy didn't do anything wrong last year, right? It was Trevor's fault, and the Jaguars overreacted. You know, how's that working out for you now when the same thing happens to your quarterback, and now all of a sudden it's a dirty hit? So we'll see what C.J. Stroud's status is for Sunday. The Jaguars can end the Texans' 2025 division hopes on Sunday. You can bury them. The Jaguars are 5-3. The Texans are 3-5. Jaguars already have a head-to-head over Houston. If Jacksonville goes out there and wins on Sunday, Jags go to 6-3. Texans are 3-6. You're up 3, plus you have the tiebreaker. You're basically up 4 on Houston with 8 to go. And it would be night-night for the Texans as far as the division goes at that point. It's going to be tough, right? Because we know the Jaguars are very banged up right now. But you find a way to win in Houston on Sunday, the Texans are done. And as far as the Colts go, they're still in first place. But look what happens when they actually play somebody that's any good. Look what happens when they play somebody that's not the Titans or the Dolphins or the Cardinals or the Raiders. They go and lose to Pittsburgh, commit like 5 turnovers. They're now 7-2. They'll probably beat Atlanta over in Ireland. And then their last 7 games, you got at Kansas City, at Seattle, at Jacksonville, at Houston, home San Francisco, home Jacksonville, home Houston. Tough stretch for the Colts. So not only did the Jaguars win a very important game, but everybody else in the AFC South lost. Crazy ending yesterday with the 2-point conversion, the 4th and goal touchdown for Trevor Lawrence. Talk about a 180-degree difference. A total circle of life, if you will. Against Kansas City, Trevor Lawrence tries to reach the ball over the goal line, and it's knocked out by Nick Bolton. Yesterday, Trevor did basically the same thing, except this time he was able to hold on to the ball and got that huge touchdown on 4th and goal. The endings of these Jaguar games have been wild. Think about how crazy the Cincinnati ending was. The Houston ending. The San Francisco ending. My goodness, the Kansas City ending. And then yesterday in Las Vegas. Earlier today, Liam Cohen, talking to the media, was talking about how wild these endings have been so far for the Jaguars.
You look around the league every week and you see crazy plays that kind of dictate outcomes and wild finishes, and there's part of luck. I mean, luck is a part of this game, and ultimately the guys just keep sticking with it, right? And finding a way to stay in it and battle. And look, we, as you guys know, I mean, we rep batting balls down weekly, like all the time. So yeah, we got lucky because the guy was open, but also D Ham used a fundamental and technique in which, you know, we practice and rep and emphasize every week and made a play. So, you know, we're 4-1 in 1-score games, and they're obviously, some of them are weird and wild and different and can be frustrating, but to come out with a win, I think Cam Little might have said it really well last night in his presser, is nobody cares at the end of the year. You look at your record, and win's a win.
The thoughts of Jaguar head coach Liam Cohen, courtesy of our friends over at Jaguars.com. Speaking of Jaguars.com, Brian Sexton, Jaguars.com, joins me in less than 10 minutes. Cam Little, the coach just talked about him there. I'm not going to throw stones in a glass house. Last week, or really after the Rams game in London, I said, look, I'm not cutting Cam Little, but what I did say at the time was I was going to bring a kicker into the practice squad if I were the Jaguars to give him some competition. I want another kicker in the building to maybe light a fire under Cam Little. The Jaguars did not do that the entirety of the bye week. Liam Cohen talked about the confidence they still had in Cam Little. It never wavered. Cam's their guy. So yesterday, Cam Little, everybody's talking about the 68-yard field goal, and with good reason, right? I mean, it's an NFL record. The Pro Football Hall of Fame, I'm sure, is going to get the cleats or the ball or something to put in Canton. No field goal kicker in the history of the National Football League. That's a long time, right? History is a long time. The history of the NFL. No one has ever made a field goal in a regular season game longer than what Cam Little did yesterday with 68 yards. And that thing would have been good probably from 71, 72. He crushed it. And while that's the story, obviously the biggest kick he made was the 48-yarder with, 20 seconds to go. I mean, if he misses that 48-yarder, we're not talking as much about the 68-yarder. Cam Little was outstanding yesterday. And you want to talk about busting out of a slump. My goodness, man, what a job for Cam Little. Defensively yesterday, it was bad, right? There's no sugarcoating this. When a guy on the opposing team catches 12 balls for 124 yards and 3 touchdowns, that's not a good day at the office. But the silver lining in that, they got another turnover that led to some points with the Monteric Brown interception. Obviously, they stopped them when they absolutely had to with the Devon Hamilton bat down. You got to figure out the safety position, though, man. That's a problem. Safety is officially a problem. Eric Murray's on IR. You got Dewey Wingard and Antonio Johnson, and that's not good right now. I'm putting that as mildly as I can. Jaguars have a problem at safety. Jaguars also have a problem in the interior defensive line. Devon Hamilton made a great play, but outside of that, what defensive tackle did anything yesterday? I mean, there are a lot of flaws on this football team. Yet despite those flaws, the Jaguars still find themselves at 5-3 and right in the thick of it. In fact, if the playoffs began today, the Jaguars would be in as the final wild card team, as the 7th seed, and they'd be making a trip to Foxborough to play the New England Patriots on wild card weekend. The injuries are also becoming a big issue, right? De'Ami Brown left the game yesterday. Brian Thomas Jr. left the game yesterday. Ezra Cleveland left the game yesterday. You know, if I would have told you 2 weeks ago that in the fourth quarter of a one-possession game in Las Vegas, you would be without Brenton Strange, Travis Hunter, Brian Thomas Jr., De'Ami Brown, Ezra Cleveland, Jordan Lewis, Eric Murray, Devin Lloyd, Trayvon Walker, who got ejected earlier in the game. That's 10 starters that I just rattled off without even really thinking about it. And that's who the Jaguars did not have at crunch time yesterday. Austin Trammell and Tim Jones just called up off the practice squad, making gigantic plays in the fourth quarter and in overtime to help the Jaguars tie the game and then ultimately win the game. That's what good teams do. How many times have I sat here, or how many times have you been talking with your buddies about the Jaguars, watching other games around the league, and they have a relative unknown off the practice squad or a late round pick that comes in and makes a contribution, really does something. And you sit here and say, well, golly, why can they find late round gems? Why can their practice squad guys come in and contribute when our guys here in Jacksonville don't do any of that? Nothing like that. Well, that wasn't the case yesterday. With Trammell, Tim Jones, Bashal Tootin, the fourth-round rookie, getting in the end zone. LaQuint Allen Jr., a big 10-yard run. Late in the game, a 7th-round pick. Look, it was a team win. They're beat the heck, but to find a way to win on the road. Again, the Jaguars had won 4 times in the Pacific time zone in franchise history before this year. They've now won twice in the Pacific time zone in the last 5 weeks, winning at San Francisco and then going back out there and winning at Las Vegas. That's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. 5-3, now absolutely in the thick of it. And again, you have an opportunity to basically end division title hopes for the Houston Texans on Sunday if you go out there with a banged-up team. No doubt they will be banged up. We'll get more information on Wednesday when the injury report comes out, but it will be a banged-up football team. But if you can find a way to beat Houston, it's curtains for the Texans as far as the division. They're done. You'd be up 4 games with 8 to go. And there's certainly questions with Houston about C.J. Stroud moving forward. Will it be C.J. Stroud on Sunday? I doubt it. I can't imagine he's going to clear protocol. It looks like you're going to face Davis Mills. Now, Davis Mills has started a lot of games, and Davis Mills almost quarterbacked them to a victory yesterday against Denver. So you're going to still have to play your A game. And that's the thing, too. And I don't want to talk too much about this because we got all week. Houston is playing for their season on Sunday. You want to talk about a team whose back is going to be against the wall? They know everything I just laid out. They realize if they lose to Jacksonville, their chances of winning the division are basically over at that point. They are playing for their season. So you are going to be going into a hornet's nest on Sunday against a Texan team that is probably looking at this as an absolute must-win. We'll preview that game a little bit, but by and large, let's look back on a gigantic win out in Las Vegas. My buddy Brian Sexton, Jaguars.com. You also hear him on Jaguars Radio. He joins me next on a Monday night here in Northeast Florida. Jacksonville, we're glad you're with us. Hacker After Dark, 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
And he's not moving. That was a heck of a hit.
Good health is an important part of a successful program.
A guy who was number 5 on our depth chart is now our starting wideout.
Listen for the personal injury attorneys Farrah and Farrah Injury Update. Jacksonville on 1010XL.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller. Jason, I called you about the ductwork in my attic this summer, and you totally blew me off.
I did.
My airflow is too low and my bills are too high.
I know.
There's stains on my ceiling tiles and sweating around the vents, and the mice have chewed so many holes in the ducts, I think they're getting more AC than I am.
I know.
Then how could you let me suffer all summer, Jason?
Because summer is the one time of year I just can't send my technician into someone's steaming hot attic. They'd kill me. Ductwork is hot, cramped work at the best of times. Lucky for you, those best of times are in November.
You mean like now?
Bueller Air and Plumbing can repair your old, damaged, or just plain sketchy ductwork right now when it's not too hot and not too cold.
And none of your technicians will kill you.
It's a win-win.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Lynyrd Skynyrd is coming home, and they're bringing the Stars and Stripes. Celebrate Southern rock and American pride with Lynyrd Skynyrd Rocks the Red, White, and Blue. It's a special night to support St. Michael's soldiers and the brave men and women of our armed forces.
Singing songs about Southland.
Saturday, November 8th at Daly's Place. Tickets on sale now, only at Ticketmaster. Daly'sPlace.com for details. Be there when Skynyrd rocks for those who serve.
Post-game Monday on 1010XL is served by Tandy Foods, making quality fresh sandwiches since 1956.
Hey, Hicken here for my friends at Beard's Diamonds, where they are having the biggest sale all year right now. Beard's 44th anniversary sale is happening with up to 44% savings. It's our biggest and final store-wide event of the year. Beard's largest selection and lowest prices. Rings, earrings, bracelets, bands, pendants, colored gemstones. Their cases are jam-packed, and our associates know they can break all the rules for this one. Shop early for Christmas. Get the Beards now as they mark another year of proudly serving Jacksonville. In a sea of corporate chain jewelry stores, Beards is honored to be the only local jeweler in the town center. No commission salespeople, no corporate chain sales gimmicks, no treating you like a number. Don't miss Beard's Diamonds' 44th anniversary sale. From golden necklaces to lab-grown diamond studs, to all the latest styles from top designers, you'll find it at Beard's in the St. John's Town Center. I say, shop local, shop Beard's.
Food for the workplace. It's a beautiful thing. It brings teams together, keeps them happy and productive. It's a great way to woo clients or celebrate wins. But if you're the one ordering all that food, it can be a lot. That's why there's EasyCater, the easiest and most rewarding way to order food for work, with a huge variety of restaurants for any group size, plus tools to meet dietary needs and stay on budget. And with EasyCater, you earn rewards points when you order, good for order discounts or even gift cards. For you. Go on, you've earned it. Order now at EasyCater.com.
Joe C. here. Want to win 3 free nights up in Nashville for the Titans game? Come stay where I'll be staying at the Omni Nashville, right in the heart of the action. Just text GAME to 641-1010 and you're in to win 3 nights. That's GAME to 641-1010.
Fumbled your fender? EV took a hit? Guardian Collision is your MVP with certified expert auto body repair for any electric vehicle. Guardian Collision, they guard what moves you. Visit GuardianCollision.com.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, Director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick. We're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, it only costs for the books and the course fees, about $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org, and you can apply there.
Apply by November 6th.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line.
Hello.
Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. What a win yesterday in Las Vegas for the Jacksonville Jaguars, 30-29 in overtime. Was it a thing of beauty? Absolutely not, but it does count as a win, and that is all that matters. The Jaguars now 5-3 on the year. Let's recap the Las Vegas win. Let's look ahead to a very important game Sunday in Houston with Brian Sexton, Jaguars.com. You also hear him on Jaguars Radio, and Brian's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Brian, how we doing, man?
Good, really good. I mean, the difference between winning and losing is a matter of inches. And on Sunday, there's no asterisk for style points. If you go back and look at some of the great teams in NFL history, they won games like that. The great teams always do. I'm not saying this is a great team yet, but you got to win games like that you're supposed to win, that you just can't seem to pull away from, or that your own mistakes get in your way. And yesterday they found a way to get it done. I think it's a really good sign, and it puts them in a spot now to go to Houston. And we can talk about that one a little bit later, but it's a really big game on Sunday in terms of the playoff scenarios.
Yeah, I completely agree. You might be able to put the final nail in the Texans' coffin, at least for the division in 2025. Before we talk about that, Brian, there were certainly some issues yesterday that we'll get to, but big picture, you had the Travis Hunter absolute gut punch on Thursday with that injury news, and then you go into
your best wide receiver and your best corner.
Exactly. And then you go into yesterday. I mean, there was one point of the game where you only had one tight end that could play. You had three receivers in Austin Trammell, Tim Jones, and Parker Washington. The secondaries beat the heck. Brock Bowers is annihilating you. And yet, despite all of that, they found a way to get a road victory. This team is absolutely resilient.
And they weren't last year. I know we talked about this, but it's a 180-degree turn from a team that lost 9 of 10 games in the fourth quarter where the game was within a touchdown or less. So they really have had a culture change around here. And yesterday, listen, it all started late in the first half. Well, there are 20 seconds left to play, and you've got the quarterback dropping back and firing that pass to Parker Washington at midfield, and then Washington had the presence of mind to make sure that the officials got the ball. That set up the 68-yard field goal, and from there, the Jaguars scored on every possession the rest of the ball game. It went from, oh my gosh, this is horrible. It looks like the same team that we saw lose to the Rams and to the Seahawks, and it turned into, oh, this is the resilient team that found a way to come back and win like they had earlier in the season against the Chiefs.
Brian Sexton of Jaguars.com. Let's talk about Trevor Lawrence, Brian. I was critical of him last night on the postgame show. That interception was about as bad an interception as you'll see an NFL quarterback throw. After that, though, I thought Trevor actually played really well. What was your assessment of him yesterday?
Well, listen, I like most people, I wanted to rip as well with that throw. He passed up the shovel pass to Travis Etienne that would have been the touchdown. I mean, it appears at times he misses the big moments in a ball game, and that's a big moment. A 17-play drive in the first half, 10:27 off the clock. I mean, you go from demoralizing the Raiders to having your own sideline demoralized by walking off the field with no points. I just thought that was inexcusable. But the throw that he made to Parker that we just talked about, and then the way that he led the game-tying drive, the way that he led the game-winning drive. I mean, for a guy who was throwing up all night and reportedly was not feeling much better on Sunday morning, it was a hell of a performance. And at least for this week, it should back everybody off at the plate. That was a major performance, for his resume yesterday. Not perfect. He probably never will be. I mean, Mike Dempsey said it on the postgame show last night, and I love the way he phrased it. It's the Trevor Lawrence experience. I mean, he's not Josh Allen. He's not Pat Mahomes. He's Trevor Lawrence, and he's going to give you some of those moments from time to time. What a thrilling end to the game, and he's a big reason why.
You know, I don't want people to confuse me here. I'm not saying he's Brett Favre. Jake Cutler might be a better comparison. You know, those guys would make unbelievable plays, and they would also do one or two things per game that would make you just scratch your head and say, what are you doing? And Trevor's got a little bit of that in him, kind of like Favre and Cutler did.
Yeah, he's got that. I mean, I'm not sure whether it's a little or a lot, but he does that. There's a throw or there's a sack that he takes where you're just like, what are you doing? Throw the ball out of bounds. Don't run out of bounds. He confounds you that a guy that has as much talent and was thought to be a generational quarterback still makes mistakes like that in his 5th season. But again, I refer to Dempsey and the Trevor Lawrence experience. That apparently that is who he is. But he also showed us yesterday the ability to lead a team that was trailing back down the field to take the lead. Then they were trailing again. Then they tied. Then they went down the field in overtime. He's a good player. He just may not be a great player, but he's a good player with the ability to get better. And that's Liam Cohen's job.
One of the things, Brian, yesterday that I loved was the overtime drive, obviously resulting in that touchdown. 10 plays, the final 8 plays were runs. When you can run it 8 consecutive times in the NFL and end up in the end zone, you're simply getting it done up front. The offensive line, much maligned over the last couple of weeks, I thought played very well yesterday.
Well, listen, it wasn't as if the Raiders didn't know it was coming, right? I mean, they knew what the Jaguars wanted to do. And even with Adam Butler, who I thought was a force for a lot of the ball game, they could not stop the Jaguars. And that's with a backup left guard in Cole Van Lannon playing for the injured Ezra Cleveland. And keep in mind, Mason Crosby can be a game wrecker, and the Jaguars had given up 14 sacks in the 2 previous games, Ryan. They only gave up 1 yesterday. 1. And that was after the quarterback had to get outside the pocket because the coverage down the field was pretty good. So I thought the offensive line really acquitted themselves well. They know. I talked to Robert Hainsey last week. They were pissed off about the way that the games went here against the Seahawks and in London against the Rams. They said they were a better team, a better offensive line than that. And at least yesterday, they more than proved it.
A couple more for Brian Sexton, Jaguars.com and Jaguars Radio. You mentioned Cam Little earlier. Let's talk about him more in depth now. 68 yards, an NFL record. To me, the 70-yarder, he was always going to be the unofficial record holder in my book, but now he is the official record holder because he did it in the regular season. And, boy, what does it say about Liam Cohen? Because I was the guy that was saying, look, I don't think you need to cut Cam Little, but I would bring somebody in on the practice squad. I wanted another kicker in that locker room to put a little pressure on him after he missed 5 kicks in the first 7 games, 1 extra point and 4 field goals. Well, stupid me, he goes out there and does that yesterday, and the 48-yarder to tie the game with 20 seconds to go also was an unbelievable kick.
Listen, shame on you for employing conventional wisdom, Ryan. I think most people would say, let's bring a kicker in, let's create a little competition. But what it says is that Cohen had a good bead on his kicker. He understands what motivates him. He understands what his love language is, if you will, right? I mean, how you connect with a person, how you connect with the player. And he did a good job with it. Cam Little has extreme talent. I mean, this is a guy with an enormous leg, 70 yards, 68 yards, both prove that. But he also has the fortitude. I mean, this is a guy who lacks zero confidence. If you've been around him, and I know you have, he's always got a smile on his face. He's always loose and relaxed. That he had that blip, those 2 weeks where nothing went right. Listen, every kicker goes through it. Liam said it last week. Most kickers go through it multiple times over the course of a long career, and they expect him to be here for a long time. Liam was calm. Liam maybe unconventional in his approach, but he trusted the kicker. The kicker went home, worked out in Oklahoma where he grew up, learned how to kick, and came back with the right approach. And listen, I watched him on the practice field all week last week. I thought he was money. At no point did I ever think, well, he's ready to kick a 68-yard field goal. But when he tried it out there, I thought, he's probably going to make this. And, of course, he did. He's an excellent kicker. He's going to have misses. I mean, there's no chance that he goes the rest of this year without any kind of a miss. It's just the nature of the game. But he's a guy who's going to win more games for you than he's going to lose.
I want to talk about Houston in a moment, but while we have you here, you're a Jaguar encyclopedia, and you've been around every head coach in this organization's history. Look, some guys are genuine in their approach. Some guys are, maybe not as emotional as others. Everybody's got their own way of doing it. But I look at Liam Cohen, and he, the first guy to get out to Cam Little after that kick and give him a giant bear hug was Liam Cohen. You see the post-game locker room interactions, which, by the way, Jaguars.com, the great folks over there, the access that Cohen and Gladstone and Baselli are giving Jaguars.com with these post games and the team meetings. I mean, it's incredible to watch. So kudos to everybody over there for all of that. But I feel that Liam Cohen's energy is infectious. The guys obviously like him, like playing for him. And boy, when Baselli said that he knew right away Liam Cohen was the right guy, I'm starting to understand why he thought that.
Yeah, if you're around him for 5 minutes, you understand that he is authentic, genuine. I mean, whichever adjective you want to describe a person who's completely comfortable in his own skin. And, Doug Peterson came here a couple years ago with the Super Bowl ring as a coach and as a player, and players respected that. But the gap in terms of age and the era that they played in, different. And so the relationship wasn't the same. This guy's 39 years old. He is so much closer to them and, to the things that are important to them and to the way that they approach it and the way that they communicate. And I'm not sure I even understood fully the whole magnitude of how bringing in a Liam Cohen, a young coach, would play. And yet you see it. You see it in those post-game locker room videos. And I mean, it takes a lot of guts to allow a camera in your locker room after you lose, let alone after you win. It's easy when you win, tough when you lose. He's allowed us in there for both. I think that speaks to just the genre that he comes from, right? He grew up in the social media world. He understands the transparency that gets you the connection with your fan base. And he's willing to do that. He's willing to let everybody see as much as he possibly can. I mean, he's not going to let a camera in right now. Well, he might let a camera in right now is they're talking trade, and what they're doing there. But they keep some things to themselves for as long as they can. But for the most part, they have the fans along for the ride, and it creates a connection. And when they're winning, that connection is going to be really, really strong.
Final moments, Brian Sexton, Jaguars.com and Jaguars Radio. We talked about Houston, Brian, earlier on. Boy, you have a chance to put the nail in the coffin, at least for the AFC South, for the Texans in 2025. Jacksonville sits at 5-3. Houston's 3-5. A win for Jacksonville on Sunday would give them the double head-to-head, which means the tiebreaker. So you're basically up 4 games at that point with 8 to go. It would be curtains for the Texans if the Jaguars go out there and win on Sunday.
It would be, and it would also really be a strong position for the Jaguars in the AFC hierarchy. You see it right now that they're sitting at 7, and they're slightly ahead of Kansas City, but they have the tiebreaker there. Then it's the Texans. Then it's the 3-5 Ravens, right? So you get yourself to 6-3 before you come home to take on the Chargers, and you've put yourself to stay amongst those teams right there on the cusp of the wild card. And we all know that the schedule becomes more favorable in terms of the Jets and the Titans twice. You get the Colts twice still to play. There's all sorts of opportunity. This game, and we talked last week about the Raiders game being a super important game for this team to go to Houston 5-3. But this Houston game, it's monumental in what you can do for your playoff positioning. Ahead of Kansas City, couple of games ahead of the Texans. The Ravens are still someone you may have to contend with if the return of Lamar Jackson gets them hot, but you put yourself in a prime position if you go and do it. And you may go there where you've won 2 of the last 3 times you've played there and not have to face C.J. Stroud. Boy, sometimes, and we saw this all the way back in 96, we saw it in 2017, even 2022. Sometimes things just play out for you. Guys get hurt, guys don't play at certain moments of the season where you have the opportunity to take advantage and create some spacing. And this would appear, and I don't know what C.J. Stroud's status is. We probably won't know till the end of the week. But it might be an opportunity for you really to take a big step ahead. And of course, the Jaguars may do it without their top couple of receivers. They may have to do it without some of their best defensive backs. They're going to have to do it on the ground against the best defense in football that only gives up, 80 yards a game rushing? 89, I think it is. So, I mean, it's a tall order, but don't you love being in that position in November? How many times over the last 10 years have by this time we're starting to talk about the draft and free agency? The Jaguars are in position as the calendar turns cold to the cold weather. When the contenders separate themselves from the pretenders, you will do that if you go and beat the Texans on Sunday.
It's a great point to be in November and to have these conversations about playoff positioning. It's a lovely, lovely place to be. Brian, 30 seconds. You mentioned the trade deadline tomorrow. Do you expect the Jaguars to be active leading up to 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon?
Listen, I expect them to be on the phones all day and all night and all day tomorrow trying to be active. But you know how that one goes. It takes two sides to pull a deal together. And the Jaguars can't afford this. It's not like they have unlimited cap room. I think all of us in Jacksonville have been used to so long, become accustomed to them being able to do whatever they want with the cap. They're tight against it this year, and they've got players that they want to make sure they have taken care of. So it's got to be a good player and a good contract and a good deal. So there's a number of different factors. But I expect that they will be on the phones doing everything they can to make sure all those factors line up and they find a player or two.
Brian Sexton, Jaguars.com, Jaguars Radio. Brian, I know you're busy. Thank you for the time. I'll see you down there in the Jaguar locker room on Wednesday.
Looking forward to it, Ryan. Have a great night.
Non-stop Knowles. Search 1010XL Seminoles on YouTube.
Julington Creek Pest Control has been serving our community since 1984. Our turf management program is an all-out blitz, granular fertilization, weed and insect control, keeping your lawn championship green all year. Quarterly pest control stops bugs before they ever cross your goal line. Family-owned, locally operated, expert technicians, top-quality products, no gimmicks, just winning results. Julington Creek Pest Control, our family serving yours since 1984.
Strap in, Duval. The Jaguars are gearing up to face the Los Angeles Chargers Sunday, November 16th for our annual Salute to Service game. Join us as we honor and celebrate the brave men and women of our military all game long. Secure your seats now and be a part of the action by visiting jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. Let's stand together, Duval.
This is Dave Barker with IHRS. Are you frustrated with those trendy pills and lotions that claim to make your hair thicker and fuller? Tired of your hair falling out? Our hair restoration solutions have helped over 10,000 men and women restore their hair in as little as 2 office visits.
Call 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477 or go to hairforme.com.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Rollovers, head-on collisions, hit and runs, you name it, we've litigated it.
And while insurance companies joke about the mayhem that occurs on roadways, we've seen the real effects. Lost lives, catastrophic injury, cars crushed like soda cans. And trust us, there's nothing funny about it.
If you've been in a crash, count on our experienced attorneys to seek full justice and all the money your case is worth.
For a fairer fight, you know who to call. Farah and Farah, Jacksonville.
Football season is here, and our hometown team isn't the only one ready to stack up the wins. At Beaver Toyota, Beaver Chevrolet, and Beaver Mitsubishi, you score big every time you shop with us. Thousands of vehicles, no flags, no fumbles, just hassle-free car buying and big wins with lifetime warranties, lifetime oil changes, and lifetime customer service. Plus, our wow pricing lets you celebrate a touchdown of savings. Beaver Toyota, Beaver Chevrolet, and Beaver Mitsubishi. We're here to wow you.
Hey, First Coast, it's your boy Leon Searcy, your lemon pepper guy. Back and better than ever for Wingstop. You know I can't resist those crispy, flavorful wings that make your taste buds dance. Wingstop just opened a hot new spot on Jeremiah Street in Middleborough. At 17 locations, now serving up the most mouth-watering wings in town. And my all-time favorite, lemon pepper. Try their new quick and easy ordering on the app and swing by today for fresh, hot wings made for you. Only at Wingstop.
Hey, it's Rick Ballou. I just upgraded my home with fantastic floors, and the experience was incredible. Rusty and the team brought the showroom to me with their at-home consultation. The whole process was simple, the installation was top-notch, and the results, absolutely fantastic. Take it from me. Don't wait. Visit fanfloors.com and schedule your at-home consultation today. Fantastic Floors, where every step is fantastic.
Awaken 180 weight loss. Awaken 180 weight loss. Hacker here, and I recently celebrated a birthday with friends and family, and a lot of photos were taken. And you go on Facebook and you look, and you have those memories of years past on the same day. And I saw pictures of myself from 2 years ago. I couldn't believe it. I absolutely couldn't believe it. That's back when I was over 300 pounds. I mean, I was in a bad spot in life with my weight. And now here we are, my birthday in 2025, down over 100 pounds, keeping the weight off. I look like a completely different human being. I can't tell you how many times I'm told that pretty much on a daily basis by people who haven't seen me in quite some time. Go to awaken180weightloss.com, awaken180weightloss.com. I'm living proof. If you want to drop the weight, Awaken 180 Weight Loss is your answer. 844-346-1800.
Jacksonville, are you ready? The college basketball season is tipping off soon with an epic in-state showdown. The defending national champion Florida Gators and the Miami Hurricanes go head-to-head in the Jacksonville Hoop Showdown. Be there Sunday, November 16th at VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena and witness this in-state rivalry live. Secure your seats now at Ticketmaster.com. It's Florida versus Miami right here at VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena, November 16th. Ticketmaster.com.
Jacksonville, hunting season is here, and nobody gears you up like Green Acres Sporting Goods, home of the largest archery pro shop in Northeast Florida. They've got everything for all seasons: archery, black powder, and general gun season. Green Acres is a fully stocked Browning dealer with ammo, accessories, and safes. Don't miss out on Florida's Second Amendment sales tax holiday, happening now through the end of the year. Gear up today at greenacresporting.com.
I know two brothers whose minds are always in the gutters.
Hi, I'm Tim. And I'm Kevin. We are the Good Brothers.
That's good with an E.
From Good Brothers Roofs and Gutters.
We install 6 and 7-inch seamless gutters, plus we repair and replace roofs, pool enclosures, and super gutters.
We are the Good Brothers, veteran-owned and local.
Visit goodbrothersroofsandgutters.com.
License number CCC 1334384.
Good Brothers Roofs and Gutters.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Did you know Duck Duck Rooter is the area's go-to plumber? A 5-star Google-rated company, Duck Duck Rooter can take care of all of your plumbing repairs and upgrades. Need to switch from septic over to city sewer? Call the Duck. How about water heater repairs and replacement? You're just a duck away, or call away, for Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic Services.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Halftime, Hacker After Dark, 1 hour down, 1 hour to go. We'll take you up till 10 o'clock, as we do every night right here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. Coming up in the 9 o'clock hour, a little Monday night coaching with Campo. The coach, Dave Campo, joins us in less than 20 minutes. We'll also go down to Gainesville. Andrew Spivey, GatorCountry.com. We'll recap Florida, Georgia. We'll also talk about the Gator coaching search as well. Speaking of the Gators, opening night college basketball, basically playing a road game out in Las Vegas against a top 15 ranked Arizona team. It's been a battle for Florida the entire night. Again, Walter Clayton Jr., Will Richard, Elijah Martin, all in the NBA now. Their entire front court's back, but they got an entirely new backcourt They trail Arizona 74-70 with about 6.5 minutes to go. Arizona's got 2 5-star freshmen that are absolutely incredible. So we'll keep you updated, but Florida down 4 on opening night, the defending national champions. Look, Florida taking a completely different tack than last year. Remember, they basically played no one in the non-conference last year, but Todd Golden said he wanted to challenge his team before conference play. Well, he's going to do that. He's got UConn in the non-conference. He's got a trip to Cameron Indoor to play Duke in the non-conference. He's got basically a road game tonight against Arizona in Las Vegas in the non-conference. So Florida will be ready for SEC play, and no question about it. They trail by 4 with 6 minutes to go. By the way, Tommy Houck, the leading scorer for Florida, he's got 23 as the Gators trail by 4. All right, Florida football. On Saturday, they lose to Georgia. First and foremost, did the Gators get the business on a couple of calls? You could argue that. The catch, no catch from Sturdivant, it was called incomplete on the field, right? And in situations like that, when it's called incomplete on the field, I don't mind them not changing the call. If that ball would have been called complete, I think it would have stayed as complete. But because it was called incomplete, it is what it is. I actually had more of an issue in the first half with the Gunnar Stockton fumble, because that was called a fumble on the field, and I don't know how you overturn that. Same thing. If that would have been called incomplete, I would have been okay with it, but I don't know how there was enough evidence to overturn it since it was called a fumble. So I thought Georgia did get the benefit of a couple of calls, but they were the better football team. I thought Florida battled. I thought they played hard. I give kudos to Billy Gonzalez and the staff for having the team motivated, having them ready. Just too many mistakes. Look, on 4th and 1, you got to get the first down there. I mean, that's as simple as it is. You got to get the first down. Georgia stops you. They drive right down the field and score. You get the ball back. You lose it on downs. Georgia runs out the clock. Georgia was the more physical, tougher, better team for the final 10 minutes of that game. And as a result of that, the Dogs win for the 5th consecutive time. For Florida, a couple of things. Number one, DJ Lagway. He's just not very good, right? You know, and I know, you know, we have to say, well, he missed the entire offseason. Yeah, he did. But I said this offseason, and I got a lot of ridicule for this. Gator Nation, you can be very, very bitter and spiteful towards people that don't see your way. You know, I came on here and I talked about DJ Lagway's 12 touchdowns and his 9 interceptions, and more troubling was his 60% completion percentage, because I couldn't believe how many people in Gator Nation were getting ready to go to New York City for DJ Lagway as a Heisman finalist before the season even started. I was like, well, maybe, right? I mean, he's talented, and maybe I'm too much of a stats guy. 12 touchdowns, 9 picks, 60% completion percentage. And I was told, yeah, but look what he did against Ole Miss, and look what he did against LSU, and they would have beaten Georgia last year had Lagway not gotten hurt. Lagway was 2 of 6 in that Georgia game prior to getting hurt, by the way. I just didn't see it. Now, I didn't think he was going to be bad, though. I don't want to say that. I mean, he's been bad. And here's the thing with college football, and I was telling Frangie this earlier. You know, back in the earlier days of my objective broadcast journalist career here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM, I was always careful about really criticizing collegiate athletes. I mean, I could go on the radio and I could say this guy didn't have a very good game or that guy didn't have a very good game. But you didn't want to go over the top, because at the end of the day, they were collegiate athletes. They were not professionals. Well, those times have changed, right? In the land of NIL, I mean, DJ Lagway's making more money than some NFL players. And is Florida getting the return on their investment? No, they're not. I mean, for all the money that he's getting, that's 5 interceptions against LSU. It's 30 yards of offense in the first half against Miami. It's 50 minutes of nothing against Texas A&M after a pretty good opening 10 minutes. And it's missing wide open guys in a loss to Georgia. I mean, that's what it is. I don't know if we're in Johnny Brantley territory yet, but we're close, meaning a 5-star quarterback that was hyped up to be this incredible player that just simply did not live up to the expectation. We're much closer to that than we are a guy that was the Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Texas. Is it all Lagway's fault? No. Did DJ Lagway ask to be hyped up as this great player? You know, gonna rebuild Florida football and put us back in the glory years? He didn't ask for that. That mantle was placed onto him by a starving fan base that's desperate for a winner. But it appears that ship has sailed. I would actually be very surprised if DJ Lagway is back in 2026. Does he want to come back? That's what he says publicly. I would argue that it might behoove him for greener pastures elsewhere. I'm not certain he's an SEC quarterback either. I mean, honestly, how many quarterbacks would you take DJ Lagway over right now in the SEC? Not many, right? I mean, Denmark, off the top of your head, is DJ Lagway a top 10 SEC quarterback right now?
Right at 10.
Maybe, right? He's certainly bottom half.
Oh, yeah, no debate there.
That's a far cry from what we thought. I think DJ Lagway would be better served moving forward in his football career to look for greener pastures elsewhere. But again, how does that NIL situation play in? The new head coach, whether it's Lane Kiffin or whomever, how will that factor in? Will they even want DJ Lagway? There's a lot to be determined there, but I'm just not very high on his performances. The injuries for Florida, too, are ridiculous. Every year it's the same thing. I don't know what's going on with Gator football as far as that goes, but every year they are the most beat-up team this time of year. They're minus their top 3 wide receivers right now. Their top 3 wide receivers. They're minus Caleb Banks and L.J. McCray, and after Jaden Ball, the running back room has been obliterated, and just injury after injury after injury, year after year after year. I mean, what is going on with that? That's frustrating, no doubt. So Florida loses, and now I do wonder what the motivation is. They put so much into the Georgia game. You saw the emotion on a guy like Trey Wilson's face, who will graduate never beating Georgia. I do wonder now, you go to Kentucky and Lexington. They're saying all the right things publicly, but will the wheels come off now? I think we might see that on Saturday night. We'll see. But I'll be honest, I don't really like Florida in the game on Saturday, even though they are a favorite. And quickly, Florida State, I don't know what that was. That was a 5-2 Wake team that Florida State obliterated. Where has that been for the last month? Florida State fan, Mike Norvell making a comeback, man. Trying to save his job for Seminole Nation. It's a good win for Florida State. They go to Clemson now playing a disastrous Tiger team. Clemson's the biggest disappointment in college football. It's not even close. Maybe their season can be salvaged if they knock off Florida State, but my goodness, if you're a Seminole fan, all of a sudden you beat Clemson, maybe Mike Norvell's back in your good graces. More college football talk coming up at the bottom of the hour. The head coach, Dave Campo, a little Monday night coaching with Campo. He joins me coming up here in less than 5 minutes. Arizona up 3 on the Gators, 79-76. 3.5 minutes to go in Las Vegas. We'll keep you updated. Monday night, Hacker After Dark. We're glad you're with us. A little Monday night coaching with Dave Campo next on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Sometimes it's an offensive show.
You gotta be kidding me.
Sometimes it's a show of offensive discipline.
There are no words.
Listen for the Universal Roof and Contracting Offensive Player of the Game on 1010XL.
At Beard's Diamonds, we celebrate your anniversaries all the time. But now it's time for you to celebrate ours with the biggest sale all year. Beard's 44th anniversary sale is happening now with up to 44% savings. This is our biggest and final store-wide event of the year with our largest selection and lowest prices. Rings, earrings, bracelets, bands, pendants, colored gemstones, gold fashion. Our cases are jam-packed, and our associates know they can break all the rules for this. So come join us as we mark another year of proudly serving Jacksonville. In a sea of corporate chain jewelry stores, we're honored to be the only local jeweler in the town center. No commission salespeople, no corporate chain sales gimmicks, no treating you like a number. At Beard's, we're local people serving local people with honesty, integrity, transparency, and good old-fashioned customer care. Don't miss Beard's Diamonds 44th anniversary sale. From gold necklaces to lab-grown diamond studs to all the latest styles from top designers. You'll find it all at Beard's in the St. John's Town Center.
Florida Gators football on 1010XL is driven by Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville. Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors. And the law firm of Farah and Farah. Get Gators play-by-play on 1010XL.
Tired of plumbers trying to sell you instead of help you? At Superior Plumbing and Pipeline, and we do things differently. We hire real plumbers, not salesmen, and we never pay commission. That means no upselling, no pressure, and no unnecessary repairs. Just honest, expert work at a fair price. So the next time you need a plumber you can trust, make the superior choice and call Superior Plumbing and Pipelining, where quality comes first and honesty is standard. Superior Plumbing and Pipelining. No commissions, just solutions. Learn more at SuperiorPlumbingJacks.com.
In the game of vehicle performance and reliability, Atlantic Infiniti is always the top pick. This is Hayes Carlyon. Did you know that every certified pre-owned Infiniti is inspected, factory-backed, with a limited warranty, and gets the same championship-level service as a brand-new Infiniti? Every mile will feel like first class. Check out their full certified inventory now at AtlanticInfiniti.com or visit Atlantic Infiniti off Atlantic near St. John's Bluff.
The boys are back in the kitchen.
Don't start the barbecue without me.
Joe, Matt, and Leon give you plenty to chew on during lunchtime. Freshly baked bread from the big #1 Duval Ford Studios.
Thank you for lunch, boys.
Noon to 2 weekdays on 1010XL.
Frank Frangie here for Coyle & Sons Fencing. Jacksonville is full of memorable sports moments. Remember the 2017 AFC Championship game when Miles Jack wasn't down? You know what else isn't down? Fences installed by Coyle. Their fences have been standing tall here in Jacksonville for nearly a century. Since 1927, Coyle has been the fencing leader in Northeast Florida. If you're in the market for a new fence, I recommend calling Coyle & Sons today at 904-356-4821. CoyleJacks.com. That's COYLE Jacks.com. Coyle Fencing, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line.
Hello.
Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Jaguars and the Texans coming up this Sunday. What an opportunity for Jacksonville, now at 5-3 on the year. And what a win on Sunday against the Las Vegas Raiders. Was it a thing of beauty? Absolutely not. There were injuries. There were all sorts of issues. But at the end of the day, the Jaguars, for the second time this year, went on the road to the Pacific time zone and won a football game. Let's talk about all of it with the head coach, Dave Campo, former coach of the Dallas Cowboys. It's always Monday Night Coaching with Campo right here on Hacker After Dark. Coach, how we doing, pal?
I'm doing good. Of course, very excited that they did win the football game. As you said, it wasn't pretty, but I'm happy they won.
Crazy game, Coach. Overtime, the Raiders ultimately go for 2 to try to win it. That's after the Jaguars had to convert a 4th down. You mix in the longest field goal in the history of the NFL. You mix in also Cam Little having to hit a 48-yarder with 20 seconds to go. I mean, what a football game that was in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yeah, it was a really a good game to watch, although it was boring and miserable the first half. But the second half, it came down to who was going to get the ball last. And as it turned out, that's what it was. It was an exciting finish. You can't take that away, regardless of how it looked overall. You can't take away the fact that we stopped a 2-minute a 2-point play at the end of the football game to win. Tough to win in the National Football League. So every win's important.
Coach, a couple of things with Trevor Lawrence. I don't want to get your thoughts. I thought the interception was as ridiculous an interception as you'll see an NFL quarterback throw. And and like many Jaguar fans, I just was shaking my head. I absolutely couldn't believe it. I know you and I exchanged pleasantries via text message after that interception from Trevor. After that, I thought Trevor was very good, to be honest, the rest of the game. What were your thoughts?
Well, you were being very modest with pleasantries going on at that point. I will say that. But, yeah, I think what we're seeing from Trevor is, first of all, you got a new system and all that, and you can use that as an excuse. But we've seen that before. And I think the biggest thing with Trevor is that he's an inconsistent player. He's one of those guys that during the course of a ball game, he's going to make a bad decision or two. That's what we've got. And I think I would look at him as a little bit better than average because he does have all the arm talent. He's got the ability to run when he has to. He seems to be protecting the ball better overall. I'm talking about, when he gets tackled, he's not fumbling. He's running when he has to. So that's who he is at this point right now. Now, will he get better? We don't know that, but I think the longer he's in this scheme, going forward, I think he will get better. And it's just, at this point in time, we're a little bit better than average football team, and that's what we are this year.
The head coach, Dave Campo, here with us. Let me ask you about two guys you competed with. On the fifth quarter, I called him a poor man's Brett Favre, but maybe Jay Cutler might be a better comparison. All the arm talent in the world, you obviously see the talent there, but they just made some boneheaded plays. Both Favre and Cutler would give you the ball, and they would do a couple of things that would make you scratch your head, but then they would also do a couple of things during the game that would make you go, wow. And I think Trevor's got a little of that in him.
He does, absolutely. And I think the key thing about that is all those guys you just mentioned are competitors. And, that's the one thing you could say about Trevor. He's not going to give up. I promise you that. He's not one of those guys that, he's sky high and then he's down in the dumps. He's going to compete right to the end. And whether or not that ends in a victory, some of it has to be the guys around him. And to me, that's something that will get better, in my opinion, and I don't know if it's this year. I think it's the next draft, the next free agent, whatever it is. I think that's going to get better over time.
Coach, I crushed the offensive line last week, and I wasn't the only one. There were a lot of people crushing the O-line. They weren't playing very well. They were giving up sacks. Boy, I'll tell you, I thought the offensive line, by and large, yesterday played terrific. I think Trevor only got sacked once, which was in the fourth quarter. I thought the running game in the second half, which I'll talk about more in a second, they really established that. I'll give a kudo to the offensive line. I thought it was their best game in a while.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that they bounced back from an average performance. I'm not sure that overall that this defensive line was as good as the one they played last week. But, when you got a guy out there like Crosby, listen, he wrecked a few plays, and he could have wrecked a lot more if we hadn't done a good job. I thought we did a pretty good job on him the whole football game, especially in the pass rush game. The only time he really hurt us, in my opinion, was in the run game, where he would swim, would start one way and go the other way. And, that hurt us a few times. But overall, I thought the offensive line played well. And then in that overtime, when they just lined up and got in heavy formation and just tried to bloody their nose, they bloodied their nose. So I have to give them some credit as well as you are.
Couple of more for the head coach, Dave Campo, and you led me right into it. If you go back to that overtime touchdown drive, 10-play drive, the last 8 plays were runs. They just absolutely ran it down the Raiders' throats. Now, it didn't look pretty towards the end. It took them all 4 downs to get in from a goal-to-go situation. But when you run it 8 straight times in the NFL and you end up in the end zone, that's getting it done up front.
Well, if you look at that drive, the one thing they did a great job with is they would run inside one play and then outside the next play, then inside the next play, then outside the next play. They had their defense in a bad situation because they couldn't get a handle on what they were doing. But when they went to that heavy formation where they put, I don't know what happened with Cleveland, but they put number 70 at guard, and then put Nidoga out there on the edge as a second tight end. That's when they got some yardage, especially on the perimeter runs. I think they had them off balance, and that's what they've got to be able to do. I have to give them credit. They said, hey, look, it's the end of the ball game. Those guys are a little tired on defense. We got to let it eat. And I think both backs did an excellent job.
It's amazing what a win will do to change narratives, right? I mean, that 2-point conversion, if Devon Hamilton does not knock that pass down, Tyler Lockett fair catches that ball for a touchdown. There was no one within 8 yards of him. What a play by Hamilton.
Yeah, absolutely. And the whole scheme of that was they had 4 over 3, with the safety in the corner and then the 2 linebackers on their strong formation, and they had 3 on 2 on the weak side with the 2 receivers over there, and it had to be the linebacker and either the corner or the safety playing the underneath routes, and whoever went vertical, one of those 2 guys over there should have had them. And it looks to me like there was a lack of communication between number 6 and number 26. And I believe that what actually happened was I think Johnson just turned the guy loose. He was supposed to go vertical with that slot receiver, which was Lockett, and he didn't go. He made a mistake. He thought it was in and out on the number 1 receiver. So it was just a flat out bust, and we were very lucky. And the guy that in Hamilton's case, I'm sure they told the front 4 in that situation on a 2-point play that whoever gets double teamed is not going to get to the quarterback. So get in front of the throw and jump and try to deflect it. And that's what he did. He was being double teamed. He wasn't going to get close. He just jumped up in the air, and he fortunately got his hand on the ball.
Final moments with the coach, Dave Campo. Coach, I want to look big picture and ahead to Houston as we wrap up quickly. Cam Little, the longest field goal in the history of the National Football League, 68 yards. What do you say about a young man that had been struggling and then comes back and not only does that, but kicks that 48-yarder to tie it with under 30 seconds to go?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of confidence with him right along, and he struggled a little bit there for whatever reason. And obviously, I'm not a kicking coach, so I don't know what the situation was. But Liam Cohen has been very upfront that they trust him completely. And, he's definitely got the leg to do that. I think he could have kicked one over 70. I mean, there's no question that the kid's got a big-time leg. And for him to hit that one, not only was it important, but it was from a scoring standpoint, but it was important from give the guys a boost going into halftime. And I think that kind of changed the narrative. When you look at how important the kicking game is in the NFL, people don't really realize how important it is. Those 2 field goals that he kicked and the missed extra point won the football game. So, in reality, I'm happy we got the kid, and I think the kid will just, benefit from that big kick as well.
Coach, as we begin to wrap up, you look big picture. Yesterday, there was a part of the game where they literally only had 1 healthy tight end. The 3 wide receivers out there were Parker Washington, Austin Trammell, and Tim Jones. The team is beat to heck. You had the Travis Hunter injury on Thursday, which was just a gut punch of gut punches. They go on the road. Brock Bowers is obliterating the Jaguars secondary. And despite all of that, they found a way to win a game in Las Vegas. There's something that needs to be said for that. That's pretty resilient.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's kind of been the way, this team, they're playing hard for this coaching staff. I have to give them credit for that. Are they perfect? Heck no. But they are playing hard. They don't give up. They've been in some fourth quarter games that they've won, which did not happen a year ago. So to me, that's a big plus. And listen, Tim Jones had one catch, and it was probably one of the bigger ones in the game, a 15-yard play for first down. Those kind of things really come back as positives.
All right, Coach, to Houston on Sunday and a chance to probably put a nail in the Texans' coffin for the division. The Jaguars are 5-3. They're chasing Indianapolis. Houston is 3-5. The Jaguars already have the head-to-head in Week 3. If Jacksonville goes out to Houston and sweeps them, they're up 3 games with a tiebreaker. Basically, they're up 4 games with 8 to go, and that would probably be curtains for the Texans.
Yeah, they know that. And I don't know what the status is with Stroud, but, usually when a backup quarterback gets an extra week to prepare for a ball game, they're not going to go down there and sleepwalk through that game. Houston's got a big-time defense, and it's going to be another dogfight, in my opinion. But it's a game that we can, if we take care of business, it'll be a tough game. It'll be, but it is a winnable game. And again, I'm looking forward to the game, just like I do every week.
Yeah, it's a big game, and the Texans, they know it's their season. So we don't know C.J. Stroud's status. So will it be Davis Mills? I would probably bet it would be, but we don't know that for sure. But regardless of who it is, that's a Houston team that absolutely knows they're in a must-win on Sunday.
Yeah, and winning on the road is always tough, and, it's the second one in a row. Our guys have to be resilient.
The head coach, Dave Campo, always a little Monday night coaching with Campo right here on Hacker After Dark. Coach, really appreciate you, man. Thank you as always, and we'll talk soon.
Okay, Hack. Have a great week, and let's go down and I don't like that Houston outfit. Let's go down there and take care of business.
Duval all day. Search 1010XL Jaguars on YouTube.
Hi, folks. Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Ever wonder what to do with leftover paint that you don't want? Here's a few options. Paint can be placed in the regular trash if it's dry. Simply stir in kitty litter to a thick consistency. Then wait a few days with the lid off till it dries. Also, if the paint is good, there's many charities or churches that would love to have it. If you'd like more tips or have a project, we'd love to help. Go to performance-painting.com. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting!
Yo, E.T. here, and Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes through in the clutch every day, from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar, Twin Peaks. Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge. Come on, somebody.
Post-game Monday on 1010XL. Served by Dandy Foods, making quality fresh sandwiches since 1956.
What if you could pull up to $500,000 in cash out of your home and drop your mortgage rate to 4.99% APR? Hey, Prosser here, and right now at Loan Pronto, they've got the lowest rates in 3 years. With Loan Pronto's rapid equity loan, you can get your cash in as little as 3 days, pay off all those high-interest credit cards, and even skip your next 2 house payments. One client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. Paid off their debt, paid off 2 car loans, saved $2,100 a month. One call, life change. There's no wait, no hard credit pull. You probably won't need an appraisal. Just fast, easy cash from your home's equity. Rates at a 3-year low. Act now. Call 914-999-1508 or visit loanpronto.com for your free instant home appraisal. See how much cash you can get today. Call 914-999-1508. See how much cash you can get today. You can also visit loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. On approved credit, visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Remember when they used to ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? At Bank of America, we ask every day, what would you like the power to do? When you work here, You help build businesses, inspire communities, and forge legacies. And now we've raised our U.S. minimum wage to $25 an hour. So the opportunity to do more also comes with competitive pay. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/25. Bank of America, proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey here. You've heard me talking about Pella Windows and Doors. With great ratings and expert reviews, you know they're high quality and energy efficient products. So what's your next step? Schedule a free consultation at PellaJacks.com or just stop by the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway. Their professional design consultants will guide you through your entire project from start to finish. And that's the quality and service you can expect from Pella Windows and Doors.
Hurricane season on the First Coast can leave you in the dark, so why not get a head start on storm season with a home generator system from American Electrical? They've sold and installed more generators in Jacksonville than any other company around, with scores of whole home generator installations throughout North Florida. That's right, American Electrical has been installing and repairing thousands of generators for over a decade in Duval. Keep your loved ones and property protected. Log on to American-Electrical.com and see how they can help you.
Hey folks, Frank Frangie here for Lee and Kate's Glass. Now with the holidays coming, it's time to update that dated-looking bathroom setup and give yourself the gift of a gorgeous new frameless shower with big, sexy glass. You spend every morning and night in that bathroom. A new shower enclosure from Lee and Kate's Glass will look fantastic and make your bathroom feel like a luxurious spa. You'll love it. You deserve it. Request the free in-home consultation. Visit leeandkatesglass.com.
You're gonna see a big difference.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Florida and Kentucky this Saturday. Of course, you'll hear it right here on 1010XL. The Gators now 3-5. They need to win 3 out of their last 4 to become bowl eligible. But let's be honest, all eyes now after the Georgia game are on Lane Kiffin and who potentially will be the next head coach at the University of Florida. Let's talk about all of it with Andrew Spivey, GatorCountry.com. Always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Andrew, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, Ryan. Thanks for having me on.
Andrew, I gave you a lot of love right after Billy Napier was fired because, 6 days before Napier was shown the door, you were on my show here in Jacksonville, and you basically said, win or lose, Napier is likely to be gone, and it was the first time I had heard it. And man alive, if you were not spot on with that, so kudos to you, man.
I appreciate that. You know, I had just had that feeling from talking to sources and had kind of gotten word, that the bye week was when they wanted to do it. And, I think we can all look back and say, yeah, they won that Mississippi State game, but let's be honest, they were lucky to win that game. They tried to give it away, and they didn't look good, and obviously they didn't look great against Georgia. They looked a little bit better, but it all needed to be done. Whether or not they win more games without Billy or with Billy, whatever it could have been, you needed to do it for the fan base, for the players, and for everyone involved. It needed to end 2 weeks ago, and I think the fan base is happy just to say, hey, let's go find a new football coach.
And we're certainly going to get to that. And I don't want to spend a lot of time recapping the Georgia loss, but I will say, Andrew, they did play hard, right? When you fire a coach, it can go one of two ways. They can mail it in or they can play hard. They did play hard for Billy Gonzales, which I thought was commendable.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't never really think that it was going to be a question, honestly. All the faults of this team and, what's gone wrong with this team, they've always fought. They've always, found ways to rebound in tough times. They could have quit before the Texas game. They didn't. They could have quit in the Mississippi State game, when they had the turnover. But the defense, got the stop there, got the interception and won. And so, I didn't really question question that. And then, knowing Billy Gonzalez, he's that hard-nosed, hey, play for the logo type of guy. And, they had Brandon Spikes out there at practice the last 2 weeks as well, pumping those guys up. And so, not too surprising they came out with the juice, and, not too surprising that they were, right there with a chance to win that game, because Ryan, you and I have talked about it. The most frustrating part of this whole thing is that this is a talented football team that Florida has. They just can't put all the pieces and phases of the game together to win, and they showed that on Saturday. I think you can make the argument that Florida was more talented in a lot of areas than Georgia was, and and that's kind of even the crazy part around the country. As you look around the country and you see teams winning, and you're like, Florida's more talented than that team. They just are better coached than Florida.
It's a fair point. You look at where the college football playoff is right now, and you just shake your head at some of the teams that would be in it. Real quick, Andrew, Andrew Spivey of Gator Country, final thought on the Georgia game before we look forward. DJ Lagway was not very good, right? And I don't think he's been very good a majority of the year. And I think it begs the question, he says he's going to be a Florida Gator, whether it's Lane Kiffin or whomever. I mean, at this point, are they going to want DJ Lagway in 2026? What's your thought there?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's certainly a discussion that's going to have to be made. I mean, heading into the year, had you said that he wouldn't be your quarterback next year, I'd have laughed at you. But it's a question that has to be answered. And I think DJ does want to be a Gator because that NIL package is pretty good at Florida right now, and his stock's not the highest. So where does he go to get that? And you see moments from DJ that remind you of how good he is, and then you see moments that remind you how bad things have gotten. His footwork is awful, and everybody says, oh, he's late on his throws. A lot of the reason he is late is his footwork, and you've seen him slipping several times. You've seen him missing open receivers, and a lot of that is simply because of his footwork. His footwork has gotten really bad. I don't know if he's trying to play through an injury or a leg. The leg is still bothering him. He's trying to play through it, and he's favoring that a little bit, and he's not trying to put pressure on that calf. But the footwork is really bad, and it's been really bad, and he's costing Florida a lot of points. I go back to the late part of the second quarter when Florida has the ball under 2 minutes, and he has Tank Hawkins wide open, and he overthrows him by 10 yards. You have Sturdivant at the end of the game, and everyone wants to talk about catch or no catch. It shouldn't have been a question. It should have been an easy toss and throw, and Sturdivant walk into the end zone. So, I see a lot of throws he's not making. And then, Ryan, even on the runs, they ran him a little more this week, and he simply did not look fast like he was last year. He didn't look near as athletic running the ball as he did last season.
I mean, quickly, are we into Johnny Brantley territory, a 5-star quarterback that just simply wasn't worth the hype?
I think it's starting to trend that away. I will say that I would like to see, what he does with the full off season, because I do think he still has, talent and ability. I think the biggest thing that's hurting him is exactly what the question was heading into, his college career out of high school was hurting him, and that was, can he make multiple reads on a play, and can he hit those 10 to 20 yard throws if you take away the deep stuff? And that right now the answer is no. He's not able to get off multiple reads, and he's not able to hit the intermediate stuff. And so, again, is that a not having the reps? I don't know. Do I want to see him get a full off season and see what he can do? Yes. But I want a backup plan or just in case, or somebody better than him on the roster too, because I'll be honest, I would like to see a little bit of Trammell right now to see what he can do, just simply because I don't think DJ's giving you the best chance to win right now.
Couple more for Andrew Spivey of Gator Country. All right, with the coaching search, it appears cut and dry, right? They're just waiting for Lane Kiffin at the end of the year to tell him yes or no, and if he says no, is Eli Drinkowitz the fallback?
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely waiting on that answer from Lane, and we'll see. I mean, I think we can all agree that, they're going to play either in the playoffs or whatever. And, Florida's going to have an answer somewhere or another after the Egg Bowl of, hey, I'm interested and I'm coming, but I can't say it until our season's over with, or, hey, you need to move on. After Kiffin, I think it gets a little muddy. I really do. Depending on who you talk to, James Franklin's a name that I continue to hear about, that Strickland loves. I know Jeremy Foley loves James Franklin. And those guys have continued to talk to him and, talk to his representatives. And that's a hire that is no buyout, could come immediately. I don't know. There's pros and cons for him. Drinkowitz is the name as well, but now Auburn being in the mix, I think the Drinkowitz would prefer Auburn just because it's a little less pressure, even though Auburn is not less pressure, but still, you have Gruden's name. I know Florida has had some communications with his people. I'll throw out a name too that I'm starting to hear a little bit more buzz about, and that's possibly maybe Lincoln Riley getting into the mix a little bit. Maybe he wants out of SC and to get back in the SEC, or get in the SEC and get away from the West Coast. So I think after Kiffin, it becomes very muddy of where you go next. I think you can rule out names like Summerall, Silverfield at Memphis, even Golish at USF. I don't think Florida's going to go that route. I think they're going to go proven coach at the highest level.
Final moments with Andrew Spivey of Gator Country. It's interesting you say Lincoln Riley. I threw that out there earlier last week, but what I was told was he's going to make Southern Cal fire him, because he's going to get like $80 million if they do. I mean, if he walks away on his own, the way his contract's written, is he's going to lose out on all that money. Is that your understanding?
Yeah, but you and I both know that there are a lot of ego involved in, including Lincoln Riley's. And, the way I understand it is if someone offers him something that he thinks is better, and the financials work out and the guarantees of the infrastructure behind it, he's willing to listen, whether that's Florida or not. I don't know. And again, like you say, that's a lot of money to walk away from, to just be mediocre, and that's what he is. And right now at SC and get all that money. I just think that, all coaches have egos, and if they know they're about to get fired and someone's willing to offer them a good amount of money, that they'll listen. Whether that's Florida or not, I think Lincoln Riley will take some interviews this off season.
As we wrap up, Andrew, you know this fan base as well as anybody. You've been covering the Gators for a long time. How would they justify James Franklin to this fan base? The fans would be pissed about that, correct?
Yeah, and I've talked to several people and, guys with Florida connections that have been around Franklin. And, recently I'd started thinking, okay, well, maybe it wouldn't be as bad because, he's won, at both of his stops, done well. He brought Penn State back from the lowest of the lows. And, he did have them playing in big games. And, quite frankly, Florida's not been playing in very many big games, if any. So, just to get there would be fun. But, the more I talk to people that have been around him, the more I'm like, okay, I don't think this is going to work. I heard he's a very micromanaging guy that doesn't like, getting his feet wet in recruiting. He likes his staff to do most of the recruiting. And, he's lost a lot of his horses on his staff and stuff like that. So I do think that that's going to be a tough sell to the fan base. I mean, but again, I think if you're Scott Strickland and you do go that way, you simply say, listen, he was in the college football semifinals and, was a consistent top 10 program at Penn State. And, that's better than Florida's been.
Names that we haven't talked about in the last 10 minutes, Jed Fish, Jeff Brom, Brent Key. Do you think any of those are potentially in play?
No, I mean, the Fish stuff wore off pretty quick, and not doing as well at Washington there. And then Brom, I think Brom is just going to stay at Louisville, and I don't know even how good that would be for him anyway. I mean, he would recruit well, but he isn't exactly blew the water out at Louisville. And then Brent Key just isn't going to work at Florida. That boring offense that he has, just it wouldn't work. And he's a Tech alum anyway, so I think he stays there. But if not, I think maybe a Penn State would be better for him, somewhere that doesn't want exciting offenses. But his offense would be booed out of the swamp quicker than Napier was.
All right, Andrew, as we say goodbye, you cover recruiting as well as anybody in Gainesville. At least for now, not a lot of defections from the recruiting class. Now, I think that'll probably change the further we get and the closer we get to the December signing period. But what are you hearing from Gator recruits after the Napier firing?
Yeah, I mean, so far so good. For the most part, most of the guys are saying they're committed to the program, and and are staying through. They're still talking to the assistants. That's the key right now is all of their relationships are still at Florida. Minus Napier. So what happens when Gerald Chapman or Jaluk or any of those guys aren't retained? What happens? But also remember this: most of these guys already have NIL agreements with the staff or with the program, and some of them are getting some nice little NIL deals coming up pretty soon too. So that helps Florida in that. I will say this: I don't think a coach should be decided based on this recruiting class. I don't think a timeline should be based on this recruiting class. You got to go get the right hire, and the right hire, in my opinion, will keep most of these guys committed anyway. And you'll upgrade at some spots, and some spots you'll lose a couple guys, but for the most part, the big name guys, I feel like if it's a Kiffin or maybe even a Franklin, that they're most likely will probably stay in the class. I feel good about where it is and feel good about what Florida has done for them off the field as well.
Andrew, tell the Gator fans over here in Jacksonville about GatorCountry.com and the coverage you guys have heading into the Kentucky game on Saturday.
Yeah, obviously getting ready for the Kentucky game, following all this craziness that it comes with the coaching search, and basketball gets underway in Vegas or against Arizona tonight, and then have recruiting as well, and just pretty much you name it. Obviously the baseball saga going on as well. There's a lot of things in Gator sports. Never go a moment, and we're staying on top of it.
Andrew Spivey, GatorCountry.com. Andrew, I know you're busy, man. Thank you for the time. We'll talk again soon, pal.
Absolutely, buddy. Take care.
And thank you to Andrew Spivey, GatorCountry.com, for joining us tonight here on Hacker After Dark. As again, Florida falls to Georgia at the cocktail party. Good game, right? Competitive game. You could argue Florida should have won the game there in the fourth quarter, but Georgia got it done. Georgia with a big fourth down stop. They drove it down the field and scored, stopped Florida, and then ran out the clock. Georgia dominated the fourth quarter of that game for a 24-20 victory. Florida now 3-5 on the year, and they have to win 3 out of their last 4 to become bowl eligible here in 2025. So we certainly spent some time on that. But as you can imagine, it was an overwhelming majority on the Jacksonville Jaguars. What a victory one day ago out in Las Vegas. Jacksonville gets it done 30-29 in overtime. The Jaguars now 5-3 on the year. They win when every other team in the AFC South lost. The Titans lost, Houston lost, and potentially lost C.J. Stroud for a little bit with a concussion. And the Colts finally played somebody good, and they lost. Go figure. So the Colts are now 7-2. The Jaguars are 5-3. Houston 3-5. And that's what I said earlier, and will continue to say all week. You can pretty much end the Texans' chances for the AFC South on Sunday. If Jacksonville goes out to Houston and wins, Jacksonville right now sits at 5-3. Houston sits at 3-5. Jacksonville already beat them in week 3. If you go out there and you beat them again to get to 6-3, they fall to 3-6. Not only are you up 3, you're up 3 and the tiebreaker. So you're basically up 4 games at that point with 8 to go, and that would basically be it for the Houston Texans. So it's going to be a banged-up Jaguar team, no question about it. But if they can find a way to go in there and win, Man, what a victory it would be. Of course, the Texans know this, and their season is basically on the line on Sunday afternoon. Well, that will just about do it, man. Very, very busy Monday night edition of Hacker After Dark. We certainly appreciate you guys hanging out with us here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.